good, the bad, and the odd. Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd with your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
Right, so this is my free choice for this one, and we're getting back into the swing of things after Christmas and all that business. And my choice for this one was Conan the Barbarian from 1982, which we weirdly have never covered. Which shocked me. I thought we had. I was going to
Same.
I picked it to watch the other night, and I thought, when did we cover that? I wonder. And then I looked, and it's like, oh, we haven't. And then it's like, oh, well, we got to do that then. So I immediately didn't watch it and watched something else instead. But yeah, I thought we have to cover this, right? I mean, we've done Excalibur recently, and we've done Hulk the Slayer and Crow, and, you know, this
Just
is
about
kind
everything
of the
else of that
daddy.
era,
This is kind of the daddy, though. I think Hulk the Slayer and
Hulk the Slayer
came
predates
first.
this. So.
Yeah, but Conan the Barbarian, I mean, Mad Max and Conan the Barbarian created a whole industry of Italian knockoff movies between them, and Escape from New York, right? But that was kind of in the Mad Max space. But Conan, whoa, there's a lot of interesting films spawned off of Conan. Some of which I've watched, some of which I'm not going to mention in the comfy chair section, but I might mention them in passing, right? But there are a lot. Some more kiddie friendly, like I don't know, Dragon Slayer, things like that, and some way more adult. And
He-Man's the obvious one.
Yeah, He-Man is the obvious one because that He-Man doll. Apparently, He-Man originated from Conan dolls when they thought Conan was for some reason, was going to be a PG movie. It never was intended to be a PG movie. I believe it was an 18 in the first submission, but they cut it to be a 15.
I mean, I imagine Hasbro makes a lot of odd decisions. So
but they repurposed. I don't know if this is an urban legend or not, but apparently He-Man dolls were originally Conan dolls. They do look really similar, so I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Anyway, Conan the Barbarian. Okay, well, firstly we're going to do our comfy chair before we jump in. We have consistently been missing it every time we finally we're trying. Anyway, I'll start this, and I'm going to jump straight into more Conan related material. Red Sonja. Was Red Sonja.
I think the books actually take place in the same setting.
Yeah, Red Sonja is in the same universe as Conan. I'm not sure they ever meet in the books, but this was originally meant to be the third Conan film. But they couldn't get the rights for Conan, and they got fed up trying to sort it out. And that meant they got Arnie on, but give him a different name. But that also meant Arnie had delivered on his contract to Dino De Laurentiis. So he didn't have to do another film for Dino De Laurentiis. I think he wanted to. Yeah. Oh, no, there was a period he wasn't interested, but he is now, right? But when they were talking about King Conan, right, as the third film. But he did do the second one, and then he did Red Sonja. But in that, he was called Prince Kalidor. And weirdly, I thought he wasn't in it that much. But we watched it. Yeah, he's in it all the way through. He's there all the way through. He's definitely the second main lead. Obviously, Bridget Nielsen's Sonja. She's quite a good Sonja. She's not a great actress, but she's quite good in the role of Red Sonja. She's got the long red hair. And they got a couple of comedy other people with them, which is kind of a lot of fun. There's a little kid who's like a prince, so he's very haughty. And we got Paul E. Smith, I think is the actor's name. The guy that was Beast Raban in June, right? Another De Laurentiis film. He played Beast Raban. We got those two. The kid's pretty good, I have to say. Kid's really quite good, even though he's playing a really annoying brat. But he is playing that. That is his intentional, right? So that definitely Prince Tam, and he's good. I think the little kid's really good, and he's doing like karate moves, and he looks like he knows what he's doing as well. Okay. I said Paul E. Smith. Paul L. Smith was the actor. Sorry, my mistake. Okay. And also we get Sandal Bergman, who is Valeria in Conan the Barbarian, turning up as an evil queen, Gedren, in this as well. So she's the big bad, right? And the whole plot is there's a temple with this special jewel that only women can touch. So there's all these red-headed women, probably the extended family of Sonja, because they're all redheads, looking after this crystal that only women can touch, and Queen Gredren turns up and slaughters them all, throws them all in the pit where they were about to destroy this jewel because of how dangerous it is or something. And they get the jewel. And it turns out Arnie turns up, and old Sonya's like, doesn't want it, not interested in his help. But it turns out he's like Prince Kalidor, who is committed to protecting the jewel. Even though he can't touch it, he's the Lord Protector of it. We find out as part of the story. Have you seen Red Sonja in a while? You probably haven't.
I have not seen it at all.
Oh, we'll have to watch it sometime. It's good fun. I'd still give it like a 7 out of 10, even though it's probably the weakest of the 3 Conan kind of films, I'd say. But I really quite enjoyed it, and it's very lively, and it looks great. The sets are fantastic, and it's really, really a fun film. So let's do it sometime. Let's watch it. I believe there's a Red Sonja film coming out, so it might be worth us covering it when that comes out. Maybe and maybe pair it up. Maybe even do a double on that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Conan film they did about 10 years ago.
I've
not heard good things, but
let's talk about that when we talk about Conan the Barbarian. Anyway, okay, so that's my first one.
Okay, so my first one is I've started a rewatch of Star Trek Next Generation. I actually briefly started just sending you texts about it.
You sent me a hilarious text of how when Wesley comes in, the dirty, filthy looks he gets.
Yeah. No one wants Wesley on the bridge the first time he goes on the bridge. It's hilarious. Yeah. So I've only watched what would be 3 episodes. It's Encounter at Farpoint and The Naked Now, where Wesley causes all the bloody problems. Yeah,
the Naked Now's a really weird choice for a second episode, isn't it? It really is.
What if we just made every character either annoying or horny? It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's a mid-season kind of episode where you actually know the characters, isn't it? It's such a weird choice, that one. Yeah. Anyway, go on.
But it's really funny. Just honestly, the whole thing's really quite funny, unintentionally, because there's a lot of implications in common things that the characters say.
Yes.
For example, one of Picard's famous quotes: "Tea, Earl Grey, hot."
Yeah.
Which has a side implication that the replicators give you tea cold by default. So
yeah. They So how many have you watched? I've got to ask.
3.
Oh my god, those 3 are something.
First Encounter at Farpoint is 2 episodes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's technically 3, but I'm 2 stories in.
I cannot. The next one is absolutely unbelievable. I'm telling you now. It's. I don't want to spoil it, so I won't talk about it. But you will be like, "Oh my god, what are they doing with this one?" Because it's anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I've been that's been every episode so far.
Yeah,
I'm constantly just shut up, Wesley, shut up, Tasha, shut up, Troy, because it's constantly someone pops up. It's like, we take no prisoners, and she leads over and goes, "Captain, I'm sensing some hostility." It's
worst psychic ever.
She's on the torture ship, and she's like, "I'm sensing a lot of pain."
Yes. Yeah. She's a bit like the psychic in Species. If you've ever seen the film Species, that is there's it goes into a room where every surface is dripping with blood. Something bad happened here. It's that kind of level of psychic ability.
Tasha kept pissing off Q, and that was really quite funny.
Yeah, I really like it.
It was like a double whammy there, where Tasha jumped up, is like, "I won't stand for any of this," and Q froze her straight away, and she was solid white, rigid, and Troy goes, "I think she's been frozen." It's like, shut up, Troy, come on.
Oh, Troy.
Yeah.
The thing is, right, they got Data pretty much right out the gate, didn't they? That's a Brett's part.
The thing is, because they do the Naked Now, Data gets drunk in the 2nd episode.
It's so weird.
I've seen the Next Gen movies where it's like, oh, Data's got feelings now. It's like we skipped a lot like back and forth. So.
Now, I have to say, Next Gen gets a lot of shit for being a bit crap, for not really finding its feet for the first 2 seasons. But there are some absolute 10 out of 10 episodes in season 1 and 2. Absolute brilliant episodes. Some of the best Next Gen episodes are in those 2 seasons. So I don't buy that one. I do not buy that they're all bad at all.
I've heard the phrase "growing the beard" in relation to this. So as soon as Riker grows his beard out, that's when it gets good. So.
Yeah, I was reading something the other day. Apparently, Jonathan Frakes has got a back injury, which is not evident, but that's his reason for the various Riker positions. You know, the way he leans on things and the way he puts his leg over when he's about to sit down.
Because if he stands still for too long, it like starts to hurt. So that's why in the background he's constantly like got his leg up on something, so he can change his position. Yeah.
It's very funny. I have to say, you have to come back and talk about the next episode, Code of Honor, next time we do a comfy chat. You have to. I'm dying to hear your thoughts on it. Because that is like the Naked Now feels like Hold My Pint from a counter to Farpoint, right? Yeah. And then the Code of Honor is, again, Hold My Pint compared to Naked Now. It just goes on and on. Like
something I did like it, because I have seen a lot of TNG before, so I know like what the characters are like.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen the Naked Now before.
Yeah.
But I do like that Riker seems to be the only person immune to the
because he's like that anyway, right?
Yeah, he's just like that.
Yeah. Riker's amazing. I have to say, the reference into Riker in the lower decks just always cracks me up, because like Riker's such a nutcase.
Completely insane piloting the Titan. I think I just remembered a clip of him like in that show flying into a wormhole with Boimler. And Boimler's like screaming, and Riker just goes, "I love my job," and as it cuts off.
Yeah. The Naked Now, just so you know, is kind of referencing an original series episode.
Yeah,
called Naked Time. Oh, okay, you know that, right? Okay.
Yeah. They use that again in Lower Decks, where they go like, "Oh yeah, here's a common scenario, and it's just called Naked Time." And
you know what? I think they pulled this episode so early in the run because it had a teleplay by DC Fontana. You know, a famous original series, right? Oh, I'm looking now. She's got other credits for the series. Okay. She's at least one other episode.
See, I'd have just guessed because it's like you have McCoy, but not McCoy in Encounter at Farpoint.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's him. It's DeForest Kelly.
Yeah, it's DeForest
and then
Kelly.
You have the same episode from the original series happening again.
Yeah.
Except fucking Wesley's there causing more problems.
I have to say though, I do really like Encounter at Farpoint. I like Shakespeare. That they bring in some Shakespeare. You know, like If You Want Justice, Kill All the Lawyers, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And of course, we got old Jean-Luc, who is thoroughly Shakespearean.
Yeah,
in the way he delivers his lines and stuff like that. So, and I really like Q as a character. The two real big things for me in Star Trek Next Gen is Q and the Borg, right?
Yeah.
But there's other.
I'd say the way that they didn't really develop too much until Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, no, the Ferengi become great in Deep Space Nine. They're just kind of. It's a bit racist in. It's a bit racist when you see them the first time, but they kind of do settle down to their own interesting culture in Deep Space Nine for sure. Yeah. In fact, I am working through Deep Space Nine for the first time.
On my recommendation, right?
Yeah, I'm on season 5 now, and I really quite enjoy it. Quark is an Odo.
Yeah.
And Garak
Odo and Roman Nog. They're all
I love
them all.
Garrick. Yeah, they're all. Yeah. There's some really interesting stuff going on, and again, they got some great actors in Deep Space Nine. The guy that plays Odo is amazing as an actor, right?
Obenajar.
I mean, he's amazing in everything. I'm glad. So you're doing the whole lot chronologically, are you? Is that the plan?
I'm just sort of working through the whole thing. Yeah,
it is a really good show. It's a good show. My heart is still with the original series. That specific dynamic around Spock, McCoy, and Kirk, and then some of the other characters. I mean, sometimes Scotty's just a badass. When he gets control of the bridge, no one's fucking with them guys, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some good stuff here. I really like how Worf develops in this as well, you know, throughout the series and stuff like that. But I'm really dying to know what you think about Conan and stuff like that. All right, okay, let's get back to my go. Let's get back to mine. Conan the Destroyer.
Okay.
I've been watching these backwards. I watched the sequel to Conan the Barbarian. Again, really fun. It's not as lightweight as I remember it, but it is pretty lightweight. I mean, but compared to Conan the Barbarian,
it's a lot more fantastical than this one, the Barbarian.
Yeah. Well, there's a sort of supernatural element. And it's interesting because I watched them backwards. I watched Conan the Barbarian last on these rewatches. I watched basically Red Sonja, then Conan the Destroyer. So I was they used the music from Conan the Barbarian in this bit and stuff like that. What they did do also, which they do in Conan the Barbarian throughout, is there's definitely some shots in Conan the Destroyer, though it's a much more lightweight film, which are basically based on Frank Franzetta's artwork.
Yeah,
the iconic Conan shots. There's a shot with Arnie just holding an axe in one hand and a sword in another.
Yeah.
And that's a straight out of Conan. And I really liked it. And I mean, it's got some comedy lines and things like that.
Yeah.
Grace Jones is really good as like this warrior woman called Zula. She's really good, really striking presence. But
I think Grace Jones is always a striking presence.
Oh, she is, but she's very good. She's very good. And it's just a fun film. It's just a fun film. Wilt Chamberlain is enormous, though. I mean, he's a good over a foot taller than Arnie.
Yeah,
and it's kind of a bit silly, really. So, but I don't have many shots of them.
Behind the scenes picture of him. I think Andre the Giant visited the set because he's like friends with him. Yeah, and there's just Arnold stood like looking like a toddler between these two. Yeah.
Andre the Giant played the giant monster he had to fight at the end. But he wasn't credited. I only found that out recently. I did not know that. Conan the Destroyer was a lot of fun. It's no Conan the Barbarian, but it is a lot of fun. Very enjoyable. Again, you've seen that one, right? You've seen it. Yeah, you have seen that. So Red Sonja is the one you haven't seen.
That was the first Conan film I watched.
So. Yeah, because it's a lesser rating. Because again, originally I think that was a 15.
I think you didn't actually watch Barbarian until after.
Yeah, so. It's a lot stronger meat, Barbarian. But Red Sonja is about the same as Destroyer, you know? It's kind of that level. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Good fun rewatch. Again, probably a 7 out of 10 for me. Similar level as Red Sonja, really. But yeah, Arnie gets some comedy lines that are a bit crap, to be honest. But it's good fun, and he just looks... He just so looks the part. It just works, right? Yeah. Anyway, back to you.
Okay, so my next thing is actually a video game I've been playing quite frequently because I got it in a sale, and also turns out there was Godzilla DLC for it like a year ago. So managed to snatch that up a while, but just not actually played it since until now. It's Dave the Diver. So this is a weird little cooking / diving mini game.
It's like a whole game made up of mini games, right? Is that
kind of? There's a lot of mini games, but the most of what you're doing is diving to get fish, so that you can provide for the sushi restaurant that you're sort of partially the owner of.
Yeah.
And you just kind of get embroiled in a lot of the weird nature of this area you're in, called the Deep Blue. Which seems to change and have a lot of fish from all around the world. So a lot of people are coming around to study it. A lot of people are going around to try and protect it. All sorts of things. But yeah, it's a really fun game. I don't want to get too much into it because it is very story based. And I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, but they got Godzilla in it. I did not know that.
Yeah, they added a DLC where Godzilla shows up and fights. I think it's Ibira from the trailer, and you can use bits of Ibira as a cook.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Yeah, it's a really fun game with, as you say, lots of mini games. So there's like restaurant management. There's growing farm foods for stuff you can't fish out in the sea. There's a weird because the part of it is collecting scrap and such. So you build guns because the guns you find out there dissolve when you get to the surface, so you can't just find guns. So you have to make separate guns. But there's a mini game where because the guy that makes your guns is a massive like weeaboo, so like a Japanophile. So the mini games are he's getting inspiration, so he's just listening to concerts from like Japanese idols. You have to do like the sort of glow stick cheering that they do at those shows.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's really fun.
I have to say, I've played about an hour of it. I thought it was okay, but I'm extremely judgmental on video games. If it doesn't grab me almost instantly, I'm just not. I lose interest and go off and play something else. And that's the case with Dave the Diver. It's one of those ones that I think if I just had plenty of time on my hands, I'd probably immerse myself in it. But yeah. And I recognise that's me, not the games, right? Dave the Diver's a really well-loved game, isn't it, around the world, really?
Yeah. I think it won, like, not Game of the Year, but, like, an Indie Game Award, even though it's not technically an indie game. So...
Well, in the sort of consciousness, it's one of the great games of recent years, isn't it? That's the thing. Awards or not. Okay, cool. Right. I have watched more of these sword and sorcery films. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I just mentioned, for example, I watched Deathstalker, which is a real cut price, adult-y kind of one, where way too rapey, really, for me. There's, oh my God, another one, you know. Anyway, but it was well made. I immersed myself in some more 80s, and I decided, it's one I've been meaning to watch for decades probably, an action film from the 80s with Carl Weathers called Action Jackson. Now, it's basically an 80s blaxploitation film, right? I believe on the set of Predator, it was discussed a bit, and one of the productive guys, it's probably Shane Black. I don't really know. Talking about how much they like blaxploitation with Carl Weathers, and Carl Weathers is like, "Come on, let's do it." And they made this film, right? And it was a really good. Carl Weathers can carry a film for sure.
Oh yeah,
we don't see him carrying many films, but he can, and he does in this film. And it's kind of a fun. I mean, the action stuff is amazing. It's practical and it's amazing, and the threat of violence is nasty shit, like Lethal Weapon is, right? There's like, we're gonna barbecue you now, boy, with like petrol being poured over him, things like that. Which then comes back, he uses his back on them when he gets out and all this kind of stuff. I really liked it. And Vanity's in it. The one of Prince's girlfriends, who was also in The Last Dragon, right? She's all right, but I mean, Carl Weathers is really what you're watching this film for. It's a good 80s adaptation of 70s blaxploitation tropes. I really wish they'd have made a series of these, and it could easily have happened. Carl Weathers could carry this sort of stuff, but unfortunately, it didn't work out for some reason. I really like this one. It was good fun. I'd give it 7 or 8 out of 10. Good action film. Good, very, 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 very 80s. Very.
Yeah.
Right, back to you.
Okay, so my next one is going to require a little bit of explaining here. So it's a game called Nightmare Cards. Now, what this is years and years ago, shortly after Bloodborne, the From Software video game that I've talked a lot about, came out, people were making jokes about what the sequel could be. And someone floated the idea of Bloodborne Kart, like a Mario Kart style racer. About it. And people started making jokes. That became something of a meme in the fandom for that game. And eventually, this solo developer started making a PlayStation 1 remake of Bloodborne.
Okay.
Like, scaled down to PlayStation 1 graphics, just because that's kind of like a aesthetic. And it does look really good. It looks really fun to play. But at the same time, they also started working on making a kart racer version of that PlayStation 1 Bloodborne. And they called it Bloodborne Kart.
Oh my God.
It's like, that's kind of funny. Sony, who owns the rights to Bloodborne, took notice and basically said, this is nice, get rid of all the branding off of it, or we'll sue. So, okay. scrapped all the branding, basically shaved off all the serial numbers, so it's basically the same, but now it's called Nightmare Kart. That is Nightmare Kart. It's a weird, like, combat racing game where you're just kind of playing loosely through Blood Bowl.
I'm having trouble even visually. I'm gonna have to go and watch some gameplay to work it out. So basically, you're racing around in karts, but also killing each other.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I got it.
So there's races, but there's also like combat. There's even boss fights. I fought a giant werewolf with a chain gun at one point, and it's a lot of you like drifting around them, shooting guns into the monsters or whatever you end up fighting. Because again, it's still Bloodborne, but with the serial numbers filed off.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's free. It's free of charge.
Oh wow. Okay, that's always nice. I've been trying a few free of charge games, and they're always better than I think they're going to be.
There's a lot of really good free-to-play games.
Pop-up ads and shit, but
there's
a lot without. I tried, for example, I had a go at Marvel. What was it? Rivals. Yeah, really fun. It's kind of Overwatch with Marvel characters, isn't it?
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. But I'm not off the video games at the minute. I've got some wrist problems and thumb problems, so I'm just not doing video games at the minute. Apart from sedentary. In fact, I've been getting into chess, of all things.
I need to show you 5-dimensional chess on again free game.
I'm still getting my head. It's just been decades since I played chess properly, and I'm just getting in my head into how to avoid the really basic, obvious, bad opening moves at the minute. But I'm just taking it easy with video games at the minute. But it's all right. I watch more telly, so that's fine.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, my last one is I have, I think, talked about a few times. I'm working through chronologically all the Doctor Who, and I've just finished season 7, which is Matt Smith's last season of Doctor Who. Oh man, Matt Smith is really good, man. He's such a good Doctor. I still prefer Tennant. But Matt Smith is... If Tennant wasn't around, Matt Smith would easily be the standout of the new Doctors, right? It's just Tennant was so good, and that's that Tom Baker vibe. Whereas Matt Smith's got the older Doctors vibes, right?
Yeah.
He's got the Pertwee and the Troughton vibe. And even
properly lives up to the Madman in a Box.
Yeah. Right. Patrick Troughton is his favourite. I've read up on this. Is his favourite Doctor, but he's really good. And the whole dynamic with him and Amy is possibly the best of the companion and Doctor dynamics. Rose and both Eccleston and Tennant's Doctors was really good too, but Amy and Matt Smith's Doctor, there's something special about that. Really is. And unfortunately, what I'm finding is pretty much every other companion interaction since Amy isn't as good as that. It just isn't. So that becomes the one that the Clara one isn't.
Yeah, Clara's kind
Bill
of
isn't.
salty. I like Bill.
I like Bill. Oh, don't get me wrong. I like Bill, and I didn't used to like Clara. I like her better with this rewatch, but after that, I like Bill quite a bit. I quite like Ruby in the new one as well.
Yeah.
But I really haven't I haven't watched enough Jodie Whittaker ones to have a handle at all on the companions. But there just seemed too many in that box with him. Matt Smith was amazing, and his Swan Song episodes are really good, and not quite as maudlin as Tennant's Swan Song episodes, but very effective. Matt Smith is there's also a sliver of darkness throughout Matt. There's a great scene in one of the episodes with Clara where they're in Victorian times, and there's not Victorian, like 50s, and they're in a haunted house. It's basically the haunting of a hell house or something. Yeah. British guys invest. It's kind of a nod to the Stone Tape Quatermass. Nigel Neal story, Stone Tape, set in a haunted house, and there's a psychic woman who interacts with the Doctor. She talks to Clara and goes, "Is he your boyfriend?" She said to Clara, and Clara was like, "No," and she says, "Good, don't trust him." And Clara's like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "He's got a sliver of ice in his soul." And that's it, right? And there is that darkness. I mean, there's one point he stops interacting with people. There's a whole hundreds of years he just He's not interested. He doesn't want to get involved until Summit pulls him back. So Matt Smith's one's the one where I think the Doctor's really maturing, but then there's that great story they have to interact with the War Doctor, and I've got to be careful. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but he gets his mojo back because he realises something the Doctor has lived with from Eccleston's one to now didn't happen the way everyone thinks it happened. So he's not gone to such a dark place as he thinks he did. Yeah. Let's put it that way. It's kind of hard to explain, but this basically regenerates his soul, as it were, not his body, but his soul. So I've started on the Capaldi ones already, and the first one was really fun, but it's. I'm looking forward to going through the Capaldi ones because I think I've kind of stopped after the first season of Capaldi. Yeah, but I do remember a few Beale ones, so I must have watched some of the second season. Maybe halfway through the second season. So that's kind of the point. I'll be watching things I haven't seen before until I get to Gatwa's run, which I did watch. I kind of didn't really watch Judy Whittaker's one so much, maybe one episode. But I think that was just more like life than I thought it was bad or anything like that. But the Matt Smith stuff is great. Some of my favourite episodes are Matt Smith episodes. That's of all we've got through. Yeah, that's how much I like it. Anyway, back to you.
Okay, so my last thing is another video game I've been playing. Fun little puzzle game. You might have heard of it by the name of Portal.
You get old school.
Yeah. I just spotted it in my library. I was like,
I've had it in my library forever. I think I got it free from Summit, so it's in my library.
Yeah, it was free for a long time. I think it might still be free. I think
I got Portal 2 as well, and that was free from something.
Yeah, the Portal games do frequently go free quite often.
I think it might have been on a new graphics card. It was free with that or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, it's $8.50.
Okay.
Oh well. Yeah, either way, really fun game, fun puzzle. You got to think with portals, which is also the tagline of it. So you play as Chell, a woman who wakes up in this testing facility where you have to test the Aperture Sciences handheld portal device. Go from there. There's a strange voice over the intercom that keeps instructing you on what to do. But otherwise, you have to try and kind of figure out what's going on through the medium of portals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a good fun game. I remember that. And
it
gets more complex with each level, right?
Yeah, you really gotta. It will put your brain to the test. So you gotta try and figure it out through some quite complex puzzles.
Yeah. Fair enough. Good fun game though. It's probably really like fun. 20 years old now, right?
It is nearly 20 years old, 2007.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, 18 years old. Okay, cool. Right. Okay, I think that's our comfy chair. Right, let's get into Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we need to worry about spoilers for this, because it's 44 years old. I cannot believe it's that old.
Like that.
44 years old. I went to see this at the cinema when I was 17, and I never didn't like it. I always thought it was a terrific film. What was your feelings? I mean, this is a rewatch for you,
yeah,
right?
It's a rewatch, but it's still really good. It's got amazing music and a lot of iconic line deliveries.
Yeah, so. and Milius was writing pulling stuff from all over the place. I mean, they even have a line from Nietzsche at the beginning of him. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And he does lines from like Genghis Khan, famously. What is the meaning of what is the meaning of life or whatever it is. What's
good in life, yeah.
What is good in life. Oliver Stone, I believe, wrote the first draft. Also, Oliver Stone's a hell of a writer. Very kind of Hemingway-esque, masculine kind of writers, right? And they're bringing this. Now, background in Conan, I've read loads of the stories and read a lot of the Marvel comics. Or not Marvel, whatever. I think some were Marvel, some were another. How about you? Dark Horse.
It's just the films, and that one time we listened to an audiobook of one of the Conan, and we were like, I do remember this because we were going to like wherever we were going, and you're like, okay, we've got to turn this off, and it was just as Conan was starting to fight some giant monster. Yeah. And it came with descriptions like the beast reared its head, terrible great legs leering upwards, and you turned it off, and Maneater was playing on the radio.
How about that?
That's why I remember that. So.
How about that? This kind of jump-started a whole sword and sorcery thing, like I've already mentioned. There was loads of them. However, there were precursors to it, Hulk the Slayer and Excalibur, for example. I think those might be the only ones, though, to be honest. But this really kicked it off. To me, this and Terminator is where Arnie's Arnie's entire sort of success arose, right?
Yeah.
I just cannot deal with someone else playing Conan now. It just doesn't work. It does
seem strange.
It doesn't work. He just so looks the part. It just seems weird, right? And the fact is, we've also got a fantastic villain, right?
Yes, with Tulsa Doom.
James Earl Jones is absolutely brilliant in the delivery of this. You could obviously... there's a touch of the Darth Vader's about it, with the voice, obviously.
There's even the weird bit where he does the, come, hi, I'm now your father.
So. But Conan's not the same as Luke Skywalker, is he?
No, Conan does not put up with that shit.
Yeah. Now, this was touted around from the early 70s, but eventually Dino De Laurentiis got the rights, and that led to this. Now, we just got to talk about Dino De Laurentiis here, right? Some of these films from the 80s, right? Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Our top of Hall of Good, Bad and Odd, right?
Yeah.
June. Our number 2 and this, right? I think this is not Good, Bad and Odd. I think this is just good, personally, right? It's
just good.
Just good. So we get this. Milius then got the directing gig, rewrote Stone Strip. He borrowed from various other movies. There's a touch of the Seven Samurai at the end, right? And there's a whole attack where there's 2 fighting against many. That's lifted straight out of the Seven Samurai, pretty much. I have to say, I hadn't really paid attention to this, but the shooting locations were amazing in this film.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good exterior work.
Yeah, I mean, you could kind of see what inspired Peter Jackson in the Lord of the Rings in his choice of location. You know, his is New Zealand, but this is Spain. But the bleakness of some of but they're still beautiful. Landscapes, lots of interesting rock formations and all sorts. It's really fantastic. Also, Milius didn't really want optical effects. He went with more practical effects and optical illusion kind of things. I think there are some optical effects, but that kind of gives it an interesting, which is probably a good thing given it was 82, right? And they're doing things for real here. For example, there's shots where there's a red hot sword, has just been plunged into snow. That must have been a red hot sword plunged into snow. There's no way that was a special effect.
I have no doubt that, because all the swords are they look custom made. None of these weapons look generic.
No.
Or mass produced. So I reckon that they actually were just like, hey, can we film you just making the sword for a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Can we stick it in the ice? Yeah, great.
Yeah. Again, we get this amazing opening shot where Conan's a boy and his father's talking to him about how steel,
the Riddle of Steel,
of Steel, and how steel is important. Sumerians, who are very famous, they have no king. They're sort of nomadic tribes or individuals, but these raiders of this cult. The Snake Cult, which is led by Tulsa Doom and 2 sidekicks, which look like NFL players with long wigs. Frankly. And the thing is, these guys look the same 20 years on, don't they? When the little boys grown up to one, it's very funny. Basically, they slaughter everyone in the village. His mother is the only one standing with Conan. She's got a sword, and she looks like she could use it. But Thulsa Doom basically kind of hypnotizes her, so she lowers it, and he chops her head off.
Yeah.
And Thulsa Doom's troops carry on while the boys of the tribe are kind of led off as slaves. And there we have the famous Conan being strapped to the wheel of pain.
Yeah.
Again, this is classic Conan story, right? Until he's the only one left standing. He's the only one pushing it's a meal, I guess.
That's what I was thinking.
Or is it just
is
a
there
punishment?
A function to this, or is it just heavy?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just heavy. So
obviously, doing that night and forever for tens of years, he's massive.
It's huge.
And he then gets sold to a man who puts him into pit fighting. We get Arnie not even knowing what's going on, thrown into his first pit fight, but managing to sort of beat the guy. And we get a slightly comedy Arnie noise. It's a bit Wookiee-ish, isn't it? It's a bit Wookiee-ish. And apparently they cut a lot of really brutal stuff out of this, and I think they cut a lot of the pit fights out, because we get shots of him in about 12 different pit fights. Right? In different armor, different weapons. And it looks, and it's covered in blood. It looks like it's like edited highlights of much longer sequences. To me, really great though. What a great montage.
Yeah.
Right.
It's also the only time he really wears the iconic nose protector, for lack of a better term, that he seems to have in all the.
Well, it has different helmets in all sorts of things.
And
different swords. We see his gladiator who's this bloke with bright red hair, takes him to the east to be even better trained. He seems to be trained by an expert swordsman.
Yeah, we get a very funny bit there of the swordsman slapping him in the face because he's done it wrong, and the swordsman other student laughing, and the swordsman just kicks him in the nuts. Yeah,
and that bloke obviously knew his martial arts, because he did it perfectly fluidly. So they got someone who knew what they were doing there.
Yeah, trivia,
there's a lot of that in this.
That guy is the sword trainer for the film. That is the guy who actually taught Schwarzenegger how to sword fight.
Right, and I have to say, Arnie's got some impressive moves. In this, with his swords play, right? So those swords must have been either very light, or Arnie. More likely, Arnie's just super strong, so he can actually do that shit.
Yeah. Again, I was reading a lot of trivia about this, because Arnie did almost all of his bodybuilding stuff before this.
Yes.
And he actually had to drop weight to be able to do the sword play right,
because he was
so big.
He couldn't get his arms high enough.
Yeah, he couldn't. He wasn't as agile, so he dropped. I think it was 30 pounds. I remember reading.
Wow, and he looks like this.
Yeah.
He's gone back to getting some flexibility, right? I guess.
Yeah.
So impressive. Again, he's mostly doing his own stunts in this, which he did do in The Terminator as well. I remember a story of. What's his name? James. Oh, who's the director of The Terminator?
James Cameron.
James Cameron saying to him, "Right, you're going over to here. We need you to punch through that glass and reach in." And Arnie just went over and punched through the glass, but he hadn't told him. Oh yeah, we're going to replace it with safety glass. He just literally punched through a window and did the scene. So we get Conan being chased across the plains by these dogs. Again, great scenery.
It's in Mongolia, because a lot of the armor that he ends up wearing looks fairly Silk Road Mongolian sort of thing.
Yeah.
But so he ends up getting chased by wolves into what the wiki describes as an Atlantean tomb.
Yes. It's weird, isn't it? It's an Atlantean tomb. But it's basically a cairn, isn't it? He falls through.
Yeah,
and he finds this
falls
fantastic sword.
Yeah.
This weird skeleton that actually moves at one point, but only a bit.
Yeah, it kind of did. Its head falls forward as it kind of gets rid of the sword and breaks all the rust of it by hitting it against a stone. Which is pretty cool.
So he's got new weaponry and shit like that, and he comes out, and I like the fact that as he climbs out the cairn, all the dogs kind of just run away. They're like, "Fuck."
Well,
this.
no, he comes out, he's got the sword, you see the dogs, and the next cut is Conan now wearing a lot of wolf pelts.
Oh, yes, that's right, yeah. I remember thinking, I wonder if they cut that. They cut something there, but no. But then he encounters this little hut with this sexy witch woman, right?
Yeah.
Who tells him, I know who you are, I know what you're looking for Doom. I can tell you where he is, but there's a price to pay. And the next minute they're shagging.
Yeah.
And she says he's into more. She's into more. And then she turns into like a werecat thing.
Yeah.
And he just throws her in the fire.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but Conan seems to have weird fire powers, but it's never directly addressed. Like he chucks the witch into fire and that gets rid of her. Later on, there's a bit where it's explicitly stated it's too windy for anything to actually burn, and he's able to set a fire. Yeah. And at the end, he burns down a stone structure. So
yeah, I think that's just...
He just seems to passively have fire powers.
And he lights his own fire in the cairn. But, I mean, we see that practically. They actually show him trying to use a flint.
Flint and steel.
So anyway, I like the fact that after a mad witch he's having sex with, kind of runs, fires herself around as a fireball, and then leaves the building. He just sleeps there.
He sleeps there. I like that. Also, he steps outside. It's like, oh yeah, there was a guy chained outside here the whole time.
Yeah,
cool.
And he goes and talks to him, and he says, and the guy's like, "I'm not asking you to free me. Just give me a sword." Awesome,
so I can
fight the wolves. And Conan like that. Next minute they're just eating together. So Conan's got a mate who's called Subotai, who's a archer stroke fighter, right?
Yeah.
Who apparently is a Hyrcanian. So they go to Zamora and there's some. I mean the sets in this again. There's like villages, there's like a massive load of pigs being driven through. They're really putting in the effort.
I've no doubt that it's also in another film just because of the amount that they built for this.
I'm pretty sure I saw some of the same sets in Conan the Destroyer. They looked really similar.
Yeah.
The stuff with camels, and things like that. So, but then they encounter. They're looking for, but they're also thieves, right?
Yeah,
this is where they encounter Valeria. And they kind of make a truce, don't they? Valeria Sandel Bergman. She's very striking, isn't she? And,
mainly because I think she's like the only blonde in the cast.
Yeah,
so
there's a bit of that.
It's like,
she's also quite athletic as well.
Yeah.
And basically, they disguise themselves and go into one of Doom's temples, which is the Tower of Serpents, where we see a weird ritual where one of the NFL players we saw earlier is like the head priest with all these women, and there's a topless woman writhing around, but clearly about to be a sacrifice to the thing below. And they are in the thing below because they're stealing the this jewel, the Eye of the Serpent. I mean, is it Conan's sweat drips onto the eye of the giant snake?
Yeah, so they what I like is that they don't show that the pit that she's about to jump into is the same pit that they're wrestling with a snake in until like pretty much right at the end of the scene.
Yeah, when she falls in the pit.
Yeah, and it's just like Conan and Subotai just beating the tar out of a giant snake because Conan's sweat drops on it, and then like it occasionally cuts back to Valeria hidden among the priestesses.
Yeah,
and then it just cuts. The camera is like Conan like driving his sword into the snake's jaw and pinning it to the wall, and it like pans across slightly, and you can just see the girl in the like above him, sort of writhing. Like they didn't hear this. I mean, this is hilarious.
Having said that, I do cut it so both Subotai and Conan are not making any noise. I mean, they're obviously making noise from the fighting, but they're not like grunting or talking or anything, right? Conan just hacks its head off. Model work, pretty much, right?
Really
interesting,
good
really effective. That giant snake is really something.
Yeah.
It makes the bigger one in Harry Potter 20 years later look a bit ropey, frankly. This is really good. And then the priest gets really annoyed. Subotai and Conan just shimmy up, using just their arms, it looks like, to pull themselves on the right, which is amazing.
They climb her up. Valeria uses some like pulley system to launch herself.
Hang
to
a
the
bloke.
top.
She hangs up, wraps a bit Indiana Jones style, right? She basically ties
shoots
her
up to the top of the building.
at the top, and they get away with the.
Well, they jump off because she's like, they're like looking about how they're going to get out. There's a pool. She just does a running dive off the building, shouting, "Who wants to live forever?"
Yeah, yeah. That's right, and then they basically start just living it up because they've got this massive duel and having a good time. And we get a comedy bit where they're like clearly just full of food and drink, and like, and Conan just his head just falls into a bowl of soup or something. Right?
Yeah, I like that bit because there's the whole like. Because Mako Iwatsu has been like doing narrations, all of like how grand and epic Conan is, and then it just gets to this bit. It's like victory will occasionally defeat you, just as he falls into his like porridge.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Also, I mean, Conan and Valeria start getting it on, and they become a couple. And then this King Osric, Max von Sydow.
Yeah.
What's von Sydow? Ming the Merciless?
Max von Sydow, and his obligatory film appearance in
again
bloody everything.
June, Flash Gordon. That's right. Thank you, Dino De Laurentiis. You pretty much give this podcast exactly what it wants, right? Yeah. So, props to the man. We should put him in the Hall of Fame, I think. Anyway, so King Osric again. Max von Sydow, great actor, delivers this kind of toshy. Kind of Conan-y lines, like they're Shakespeare, right? And he shows them like goes, "This is the serpent's fang. It's like a two-pronged,
a two-pronged knife. It's like someone tried to kill one of my associates with it, and
their son tried to kill him. Will my daughter have this? Yeah, and all of this." And he gives them loads of jewels. He goes, "This is if you rescue. There's more. You have half my kingdom if you rescue my daughter." The diamonds have lost their luster and all this kind of stuff. Valeria is all for just legging it. He goes, look, we got enough just to... She goes, I've always lived alone. I've always seen lights where happy couples, but now we can let someone else be the one passing us in the light. Yeah. It's quite good. But Conan's like, we don't have to go after Doom, but Conan's like, he just rides off.
He just leaves.
Next morning,
he doesn't even take Suicide with him.
Yeah, but he's off. But unfortunately, he disguises as a priest. One really dodgy priest, kind of obviously a sex pest.
Considering some of the, as I say, considering some of the stuff we see inside the cult building later. Yeah, that might just be how the priests are.
Yeah.
So.
And basically it's coming on to Conan, and Conan's like, can we go talk somewhere private? And obviously mashes him and takes his outfit.
Him and takes his clothes. Except, of course, it's Arnie. He's massive. And all the other priests are priests. So it's like, oh, man, who could be the infiltrator? And there's Arnie about 4 foot wide.
Yeah.
all these
so they capture him straight away.
They grab him
the
straight
shit
away.
out of him. And basically Thulsa Dude's talking to him, and he goes... And he's saying,
you broke into my home and killed my pet and stole the eye of the serpent. What are you doing here?
Bet you gave it for a night for a woman. He goes, what a waste. Yeah. And Arnie's like, you killed my mother, you killed my father. And he goes, oh, that must have been when I was young. I was after the secret of steel. But he gives him a lesson, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Steals nothing.
Steals not
flesh.
Flesh is
and
strong.
Basically, he calls a girl who just jumps to her death, and that is Strength Boy.
Yeah. That's bad. I love that he immediately goes like, crucify him. Just straight away from like, I'm stronger than you. Die.
So again, we get the extremely famous Conan image of him being crucified on the Tree of Woe, an X-shaped tree, basically.
Yeah.
Where a vulture tries to peck at him, and he's acting like he's dead, and then he bites the vulture's neck and kills the vulture. But then we see Subotai running towards him, and Arnie, ha ha ha, all this kind of stuff. But he's nearly dead, right? So, we should have mentioned Conan encounters a magician who's doing the narration, right?
Yeah.
They encounter Akiro, and they take the Conan who's really close to death, and sort of says, what can you do, wizard? And the wizard says, they will extract a promise. There'll be a higher price to pay. And Valeria's like, I'll pay it. I'll pay it.
Yeah.
And they do this really cool shit where the wizard paints all these symbols all over Arnie.
Yeah.
It's really cool, isn't it? Really cool. And then in the night, they try and take Conan to death. And it's kind of it's almost like a Haas Take On Me video, isn't it? It's kind of that kind of animated creatures. They're like weird spirits. And they're trying to pull it away. Which reminded me a bit of some of Twin Peaks Season 3. There's a bit where Dark Cooper's...
The ball,
Yeah, Dark Cooper's being... massaged by dark spirits, but they try and take Conan, but he does. Everyone fight. Basically, the wizard, Sabatai, and Valerius kind of fend him off, right? Conan's all right. Anyway, Valerius, Sabatai say, we're gonna. Well, they don't even say it. One of the beauties of this film is how little dialogue there is. I mean, there's no scene of them discussing it or anything like that. They just go do it. But you accept it, right? It just makes sense in this world. Because it's such a cinematic film. It is pure cinema, this film, in many respects, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd say. Really, A to B plotting is not a thing.
We haven't even talked about the awesome music.
The music
Riders
is
of Doom.
Absolutely terrific. And they reuse some of it in Conan the Destroyer too. There's some really... I like the music when what they're going to do now is infiltrate another temple, and there's this music playing, which is a sort of... like that, right?
Yeah. So when they were infiltrating the temple, and because the music has lyrics, but the lyrics start on a cut to the cult doing stuff, and they're walking in time to the beat. So I had a brief moment. It's like, are they singing? No.
Yeah, you feel like the music's part of. Yeah, is it diegetic when it's part of the scene? I feel like it's that. But they're also cannibals. They're producing this green liquid that's got hands and heads floating in it, and we actually see to make the point, a girl pick up one of their hands and start chewing on a finger at one point.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an orgy scene, isn't it? It's kind of
There's an orgy going on in the background,
and honestly, it does look a bit like Flash Gordon. Some of this, So basically, and we also see False of Doom just sort of meditating, but slowly transforming into a snake, doesn't he? A giant snake. Again, really cool. Other than the skin tones are wrong, his face looks much darker when it cuts to the model. But otherwise, I thought it was pretty good. What did you think? Yeah,
I quite liked it. There's the weird bit where feels like they could have shot it a little better, where he it has him with like his normal eyes, and then it just cuts to him with the snake eyes.
Snake eyes, yeah.
And then at the end of the shot with the snake eyes, he closes his eyes. It's like, I feel like you should have done that in the other order, really. So like have him blink and then cut back to him, open his eyes, he's a snake. Sort of thing.
Yeah. I kind of agree. Yeah, they basically attack and they manage to free the princess. That looks a lot like the scene with False of Doom sitting there with the princess tied up at his feet in a sort of bikini, bare midriff. Yeah. It's very Return of the Jedi, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it's a bit like Princess Leia in the Jedi. But they managed to free her. But old Tulsa Doom is slithered away as a snake. They're killing everyone, pretty much. Well, all the guards, anyway, and having fights with people and destroying. It is brutal. Valeria, Subotai, and Conan are just hacking people to pieces.
No, Valeria dies.
She does because. How does she die? I'm trying to remember how she dies.
Tulsa Doom shows up after they've finished hacking everyone off and started running away. And he walks outside, takes one of the snakes that's straight around his shoulders.
He turns into an arrow.
Snakes straightens it out and then fires it. He looks it in the face and goes, "Seek," and then fires it. And it hits her in the side and seems to be like trying to bore into her from the amount that Conan pulls out of her later.
Yeah, it's it's almost like the snake's about a foot into her, right? Wriggled into her veins or something.
Yeah.
So Valeria then dies. This is the toll that she had to pay.
Yeah.
Then we get an epic burial mound where he burns her remains, which is almost explodes at one point.
Yeah.
Again, reminding me of Return of the Jedi. So, and then he prays to Crom, which he has talked about a few times, but he doesn't really pray to Crom. But this is like, he goes, "I never pray to you," and he starts praying to Crom, and he's like, "All that matters is two stand against many. Everyone will forget our names, but two stand against many." And he goes, "If you don't listen, to hell with you, Crom."
Yeah.
Which is, one of my gaming handles is "to hell with Crom." That's how much I like this. And then we get that amazing fight, which is really not really connected with what's going on. Basically, they could have just ridden off, but they decided to make a stand. They build like stockade, don't they, and pikes and things like that.
Yeah.
I think about 15 blokes attack them. Would you say?
Yeah.
But,
so a lot of guys attack them. Conan mostly just hides behind rocks and hits them with a big axe.
Yeah.
And Subutai and the wizard.
Oh, the
really
wizard gets stuck in, so
Yeah.
it's actually 3 against many. The wizard's kind of funny because if he falls over, he's like a turtle. He can't get back up.
Yeah,
again.
he's wearing so much armor he can't
Get up again. But he does manage to stick a pike into someone and be really happy about that.
Yeah.
They've set up traps too. Like one of the main NFL guys sees Conan's helmet, hits him with a hammer, turns around, and a massive stake comes on a swivel, comes around and goes right through his chest. So that is done. Then the last bloke is about to kill Conan, but as Valeria appears and deflects the blow, and she's all shiny and silver armor.
Yeah, she's wearing like Valkyrie armor.
Yeah, and yes, she is. And Conan's, and she says to Conan, "Do you want to live forever?" And then he goes and dispatches that guy. So she's come back as a Valkyrie to save Conan one last time. Meanwhile, False Doom's on a hilltop watching all this and fires another arrow, this time at the princess they've managed to try and get away with. But old Subutai manages to jump in front of a shield and the snake arrow goes into that.
I think it does some damage to him, I think, because he's not in the rest of the movie. So
yeah, well, Conan just goes back on his own, doesn't he? He's finally sick of all this. But the Atlantean sword got broken with the fight with the other guy, didn't it, as well?
No, that wasn't the Atlantean sword. That was his father's sword.
Oh, okay. Conan's Atlantean sword breaks his father's sword, right? Yeah. And he just holds it up. He holds up the broken sword and his Atlantean sword. So Atlantean swords are even stronger than steel, right? That's the implication. Yeah. So now Conan then sneaks back to the temple and gets to the... Doom's holding this massive, I don't know, mass or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
At the top of a tower, but Conan comes in behind him. And then Doom just turns to him and starts... It's like, I helped make you this. I am your father now. But old Conan snaps out of it and... Yep. Chops his head off.
Got him.
Right. Throws it down. And then just burns everything. And we see all the... It's an amazing scene. Again, the sets in this thing. And we see all of their torches just thrown into the water. They're all just wandering away. Because they're like hippies, aren't they, these cultists? Yeah. And he just leaves. And it ends. Right. Presumably he's taking the princess back. What? This film is, it's like the word epic movie.
Yeah.
You should just have this in the entry. That'd be it, right? That. This is epic before Lord of the Rings and and I know Lord of the Rings is a way more epic and detailed story than this, but even so, man, this is really delivering.
Yeah.
And I like all the different... he's just nicking from all, the cult of Set. And he's nicking different iconography from different parts of the world to sort of build all this. And you can argue, okay, well, this came before all of those, so it might have spurred all of those, or this isn't real history, obviously, but that case could be made. So again, can't see anyone else doing Conan as well as this. Just can't see it. It's just not around. I mean, I'd be happy. I know he's quite old now, but I'd be happy for a King Conan. But I know Conan himself as a character will probably take a back seat to some other hero in that film, I would imagine, at this point, if they were to do it. But, I mean... yeah. I mean, the acting, it's Arnie, and he's one of his first acting roles, and he delivers. He delivers.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not the best actor, but I mean, it just totally works because he just so looks the part. Apparently, Sandra Bergman was a dancer. That's why she's so athletic and moves so gracefully, I guess. All right. She's pretty good with a sword, though, as well.
Yeah.
Apparently, some of the other roles considered were Sean Connery and John Huston. And I can see John Huston as Thulsa Doom. That kind of works for me. But, I mean... I cannot believe anyone would do Thulsa Doom better than James Earl Jones in this time. What's your thoughts?
No, I don't. I can't. Yeah, I really can't see anyone else in the role. Is the thing.
No.
So, like, it just doesn't. It just seems wrong. So.
Yeah. There's. I mean, if you could. I mean, there's nothing. I literally wouldn't change a single thing about this film.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the action a bit longer, that's all. But, I mean, the general thrust, the scenes, the music, the imagery, the locations, and just this... I mean, these sets are spectacular. You know, that ending set must have taken forever to build. Right?
Yeah, and it's just in that one scene.
Yeah, it's quite outstanding. It's quite outstanding all the way around. I'm just having a look and see. Critical response, right? It says here, response, media reaction will polarise. Aspects of the film heavily criticised by one side regarded as a positive light by the other. So basically, every positive review, there was a negative review. Moaning about the same things that were considered the good things in the positive. How about that, right? Siskel... someone called Schickel said Conan's a sort of psychopathic Star Wars, stupid and stupefying. No, definitely not. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's really easy for it to have gone wrong because they really treat the material seriously in this film, right? Yeah. And if one aspect had fallen down, that would have made it like completely stupid. But it's the sheer seriousness that makes it work, isn't it? Gives it its sort of power.
Yeah,
I'd say. You got any last comments about it? We'll kind of
nothing I can really think of that we haven't gone over. There's a few. There are a few funny bits where during the montage of Conan's sort of upbringing that really kind of tickled me, like when they give him the woman.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah, and Conan was put out to stud, and Conan, like, lays her on the bed, but he then puts his hands on his hips, like he's looking at some like he's doing some DIY.
Inspecting the goods, yeah,
like, no, it's just sort of like, what do I do here?
What do I do? Yeah, because he probably doesn't know. He doesn't know. Because he kind of does learn, I mean, he gets thrown into a pit with not fighting knowledge at all at the start, so he kind of... Conan's obviously very fast at learning stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. What would you give this? How would you rate this film?
I'd give this an 8 or a 9. I can't tell which I default to. Probably 9.
I'm going to a straight 10 out of 10.
Okay.
I really like this film. The thing is, the moment I put this film on, I just watched it, right? Nothing else. There was no distractions. I had at no point did I look away from the screen, right? It's just a very captivating film. And a lot of films aren't, right? They kind of, you have to try consciously pay attention. This, I'd had no problem. Seven Samurai's the same, right? Just put it on and you're gone, right? You're in another world. And this is the same to me. So, I think this is a terrific film. It's one of the great films, I'd say, personally. I like it that much. Do you think it deserves to go into our Hall of Fame? It's currently in our Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. It definitely deserves to go.
I think I'm going to move it up the list a bit because it's quite low, because we didn't have a link for it. And I would also put it only in the good, the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Good, Bad and On. There's nothing odd or bad about this, in my opinion. Maybe a bit odd, but it doesn't fulfill our criteria of good, bad, and odd, does it? It's just a great film, really. And I think, if you don't mind, I might put De Laurentiis in the Hall of Fame too, because of the good stuff he's brought us in the 80s.
Okay.
Does that sound all right? You all right with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, all right then. So I'll do that. Okay. We'll wind it up there. So next time will be a Daisy. We are spinning something off of Curse of the Were-Rabbit was our last one, wasn't it? Which is your choice. So this one will be my choice. So next time we'll be covering a Daisy. So bye from me.
Bye.